Hello, hello, hello. Today we shall be developing panel co-integration model, and here we have three variables such as export, import, export GDP and import. Okay, now we can develop the panel co-integration model. Okay, but there is a precondition for running panel co-integration model, and that is variables must be non-stationary at level, but when I convert all the variables into first difference, then they become stationary, right? And that is the precondition before running the panel co-integration model. Okay, and here we assume that our three variables such as export, GDP and import are stationary, are non-stationary at level, but when we convert them into first difference, then they become stationary, right? That we assume. So now we can run the panel co-integration model using export, GDP and import. Okay, here the data, I can show you all the data that I have. I can show you from here. This is the data. This is the data of the data. I can open all the data for you. You can see all the data at a time. Open all the data. Okay, you can see all the data. Okay, in this data, here I assume that there are 6 countries. Here you can see country 1, country 2, country 3, country 4, country 5 and country 6, right? Okay, and our data is from the year 2000 until 2010 for each country. You can see from here, this is country 1, and from here country 2 until 2010, then again from the year 2000 until 2010. So you can see all 10 years data for 6 countries. Okay, and the data is here: export, GDP, and import for 6 countries. Okay, and now we assume that these data are non-stationary at level, meaning that these data have unit root at level, but when we convert them into first difference, then they become stationary. That we assume without testing. Okay, so as a result, we have fulfilled the condition of panel cointegration. So we can run the model, panel cointegration model. Okay, how to proceed? I go to quick, I go to group statistics, then I select Johnson desktop, I select this one. Okay, here I put all the variables: export, GDP, and import. So these 3 variables I have set here, right? So these 3 are non-stationary variable that we assume, and the press OK. Okay, so you can see the panel co-integration test, right? It is here. So there are many things. Test type, you can see there are few tests for panel co-integration. You can see from here, one is Pedroni, then cow and Fisher. There are 3 tests, but out of these 3 tests I shall use the first 2, Pedroni and cow, right? And here is the three scenario: individual intercept, then individual intercept and trend, no intercept and trend. And here you can see automatic selection. Here I select automatic selection of lag, right? That I select. So first I begin with the Pedroni angle Granger based, and first I select this one, individual intercept, to see the result. I click on OK. Yes, the result has come up. You can see Pedroni residual test of cointegration, and null hypothesis is no cointegration in this model. That is the null hypothesis. And we have 3 variables: export, GDP, and import. And here is no deterministic trend in this panel cointegration. Okay, and here you can see that all the outcome, alternative hypothesis, it is within dimension, and there is one more between dimension. So there are 2 scenarios, and here are 7 tests: panel 5 test, panel row test, panel PPP, panel ADF, group row, group PPP, group ADF, and all tests will be considered. And here you can see weighted statistics and the corresponding probability, weighted statistics and corresponding probability, meaning that you can see there are 7 tests in total, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and in this 7 tests there are 11 outcome. How? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. there are 11 outcome, and we shall consider all the outcome. Okay, and what is our null hypothesis? Null hypothesis is there is no cointegration. And what is alternative hypothesis? There is cointegration, right? Okay, now I check from here this one how much? 51.51%. So I cannot reject null hypothesis, rather I accept null hypothesis, meaning that there is no cointegration among the three variables that we have. And what about this one? It is under panel row statistics, 46.75%. We cannot reject null. What about this one? Panel PP statistics. Yes, we can reject the null hypothesis and can accept the alternative hypothesis, because the probability value is only 0.32%, which is less than 5%. So we can reject the null hypothesis. What about this one? Panel ADF statistics. Yes, here is also p-value is less than 5%. Here is only 0.18%, which is less than 5%. So we can reject the null hypothesis and can accept the alternative hypothesis, meaning that variables are co-integrated. Okay, here you can see, so here is how many? Total is 11 outcome. 4, 4, 4, sorry, not 11, yes, 11. 4, 4 and 3. So 11 outcome. Out of 11 outcome, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 are significant out of 11, meaning that we can reject the null hypothesis and can accept the alternative hypothesis, meaning that variables are co-integrated. And here what is happening? Out of 11, 6 can reject the null hypothesis, meaning that majority can reject the null hypothesis. So we can take the decision that we should reject the null hypothesis and can accept the alternative hypothesis, meaning that our three variables such as export, GDP and import are co-integrated, meaning that they have long run associationship. Okay, so that is this one when there is a no train, right? When there is a no train, then we can see that variables are co-integrated. Okay, now I can check the second one. Okay, I go to view as before, then I go to co-integration test, then I go to panel co-integration. Okay, so this one I have already tested. Now the second one, individual, intercept and trend, both are here in this in this in this model, all these two are here. That means intercept is here and trend is here in this Pedroni model. Then what happens? Okay, I click on the OK to check it. Okay, now you can see the same thing, null hypothesis, no cointegration, and here is the trend is here. Trend and intercept both are available in this model. Okay, here you can we can see. So here is out of 11 outcome, 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4 are significant, and the rest how many? 11 are not significant, meaning that we cannot reject the null hypothesis, rather we accept the null hypothesis, meaning that our variables are not cointegrated. Okay, so this one is the outcome of this trend and intercept. Okay, then I check we have one more. We have one more as before. I come here, no intercept and trend, that I choose this time, right? Okay, as before, null hypothesis, no cointegration, and here is no deterministic trend or intercept. Okay, from here I can check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 are significant out of 11, meaning that majority are significant. So we can reject the null hypothesis and can accept the alternative hypothesis, meaning that variables are cointegrated. Okay, so here are 3 tests, right? Here are 3 tests that we have done. You can see 3 tests, right? The 3 tests, 1, 2, 3. There are 3 tests. Out of 3 tests, 2 tests are telling that variables are cointegrated. So I am telling again, there are 3 tests. Out of 3 tests, 2 tests is telling that variables are cointegrated. So majority must be granted. Okay, then we check the second one, second method, cow method, that we can select also to check, and here individual intercept and automatic lag selection, right? Okay, then I press OK to check the result. Okay, in this you see cow test of cointegration, null hypothesis, no cointegration, and no deterministic trend in this model. And here is the ADF test outcome, statistics, and the probability. Probability is how much? 0.34%, which is less than 5%. So we can reject the null hypothesis and can accept the alternative hypothesis, meaning that our 3 variables are cointegrated, meaning that our 3 variables, export, GDP, and import, they have long run associationship. Okay, out of all tests, majority of the tests are telling that variables are co-integrated. So that is the decision of this model. And thank you very much for being with me for a while.